Hello students, are we live? Okay, are we live? Yeah. Hi students, so how was the result? Let me know in the chat box. How was your result? Are you satisfied with the results that just were released by the NTA? We are seeing.
Yes. First of all, please let us know if we are audible. And we just want to know that we already actually know that we are receiving mixed reactions from you guys because of the results, because results are slightly unpredictable for you as well and for us as well. So we are going to talk about that. We are going to talk about the action plan as well. We are going to talk about what happened, what lead to that particular unexpectedness of the result. So we are going to do that. Just please let us know whether we are audible or not, so I can read some of the comments over here.
Terrible
results. Okay, all right. So we all were waiting. Yesterday we were taking sessions, ma'am, and we were seeing that students were absolutely distracted. Yes. So let's just get straight to the point, ma'am.
Yeah. So even if your result is not satisfactory, please just look at what is written on the board. Just look at this line and please keep it in mind that even at your higher scores, even if you're getting a very good score, you can still get a lower percentile this time, and hence you are expected to get a lower rank. Okay, so don't get disheartened by that lower percentile thing. And why has it happened? We are going to do shiftwise analysis. Like, why has that happened, right? Can you look at this table, which is like shows you the January 2024 shiftwise analysis and what all percentile you can expect with what all marks, right? So this is like a general expected percentile as of now. Okay. Now look at the सबसे पहले look at the, okay, so this is the first slide that we're showing. Yes. So look at this slide. Okay. So what happened last year in your JEE exams, bacha? In the last year, your 150 marks, scoring 150 marks was a dream, right? Scoring 150 marks is a dream, but right now, can you see at 157 marks, you're getting 93 percentile in the shift. If you have taken the exam on 27th of January, shift 1, at 157 marks, you are getting 93 percentile, while at the similar marks, can you look at here, at 156 marks, if you have given the exam on 31st January in the shift 2, you are expected to get a 99 percentile. So can you just look at the marks versus the percentile variation that is happening at the similar marks? You are getting a different percentile. And why has it happened? We are going to discuss and tell you the exact analysis of why has it happened. Before that, we are going to look at some more marks, some more pattern that we are observing and what are the reason behind those pattern, and ma'am will explain you further.
Yes, so definitely, ma'am. Can we just go back?
Yes.
Yes, as you can see that at same score but with different shifts, we are having different percentile, and that percentile is actually having a huge gap, 93 and 99 percentile. So these percentile are having a huge gap, right? In terms of ranks also, you will see the huge gap in terms of marks. So for same score, you will get a huge gap in ranks. And along with that, one more observation which we should do over here is the high. Basically, to get 99.9 percentile in 27 January shift 1, a topper student scored 278 marks, right? But then 31st January shift 2, he is getting 210 marks. So can you see that for the same percentile, the marks difference is almost 80 marks. 80 marks is huge. Like till now, this is the huge gap we are seeing, and same for the 90 percentile as well. Can you see that approximately it is actually more than 80 marks, ma'am? So more than 80 marks for same percentile. This is a huge gap. So let me just show you without actually distracting you with the whole data, but let me just show you the precise data to get 99 percentile in 2024. 27 January shift 1 is having 235 and 31st January shift 2 is having 156. Again, let me just reinforce that 80 marks is a huge gap. But if I talk about the previous year, can you see 2023 data? It is almost 40 marks. So ma'am, it's like the gap has been doubled this year. And this year, there is something different which we are going to address. And this difference is from the NTA side. Yes?
Correct. And we're going to discuss why has it happened. So can you see the marks has already doubled along with the same percentile. So what are you expecting this time? This time the variation in the ranks bacha will be observed will be much more, right? If on the academic side the paper was on the easier side, but now looking at the percentiles, this is going to be a tough challenge, a tough thing for you guys to just digest in your
Ma'am, I just have a point to make.
Yeah.
So we were discussing that 27 January shift 1 memory based paper. No? So you were discussing chemistry, Shreya sir were discussing physics, and everybody in the Vedantu office was saying chemistry is coming easy, physics is coming easy.
Yeah.
So in the back of my mind, I was not actually happy, and students were also showing that, ma'am, we got this much correct answers. So in back of my mind, I was actually sensing this, that when the score will come, we will get to know that this is actually not good. And I actually made that video also because mathematics was coming tough. No, so I was a little bit relaxed because this tough thing is not a bad thing for you guys. Sometimes tough things are good, and this tough mathematics has been blessing in disguise, basically, I would say. So do not get scared with the tough paper. This is for your April attempt as well. And one more thing, ma'am. So I always see, like, since past few years we are doing these kind of videos regarding percentile, the scorecard they release. So there is some complexity, right, in calculating the percentile, in giving the scorecard. So I always wonder why NTA is not giving just basic percentage, just like our school examination. Why they are switching to percentile? So actually,
let us understand the difference between percentage and percentile, and why this method is used by NTA, where percentile is preferred over percentage. So, but what happens in percentage? You take an exam, and then out of that exam, for example, out of 100, you scored around 80 marks. Okay? So your percentage will be 80%. Okay? And this is a good method for those papers where you have just one paper, because the difficulty of the paper is same for all the students. Okay? So now if I conduct like even two papers, for example, this is paper 1 and this is paper 2, and if the paper 2's difficulty level is a bit higher, okay? If the difficulty level is bit higher, and out of 100 the highest mark score is suppose 60 marks. Okay, so the highest percentage that you're getting is 60%. Okay, so now in this case, which student will be preferred? Bacha, the 80% student will be preferred because the percentage is higher in this case. Okay, but again, because there were two papers, two different level of difficulties paper were there, therefore this is a wrong criteria for judging the ability or the capability of the student, or how much the student knows. Okay, to actually compensate this drawback of the percentage system, the percentile system is actually comes and takes his place, right? But still, the percentile system, which ma'am will explain it to you, it still has some drawbacks, and because of those drawbacks, your results this time have been very haphazard, and we will explain it to you one by one. And what can you do about it? How can you appeal to NTA? We will also let you know in just few minutes.
So yes, as ma'am told, if we got two papers and one student is getting 80%, he is the topper in paper 1, and the topper in paper 2 is 60%. And if we want to relate them, if we want to judge them who is better, so the marks is not the percentage is not the good criteria, because no matter how much we say that both paper are of same level, or both circumstances are similar, it doesn't happen. Because what will happen, it may be possible that in paper 2 there are some bright students are sitting, and in paper number 1, basically in paper number 1 some bright students are sitting, paper number 2 some average students are sitting. So these are the factors that will affect the whole thing. So we can't go by percentage system. Why? Because we have multiple shifts, and you know why do we have multiple shifts, right? Because now the paper is going online, and we can't have all 12 lakh students sit together and conduct the computer based online test in one go. That's why we divide students in shift wise, and to normalize this, to basically give a fair chance to anyone, we introduced, actually NTA introduced the percentile system. Now what happens in percentile system is, so basically, so if you have basically out of 300, your mains paper is of 300 marks, right? So out of 300, if you are scoring approximately 120 marks, right? So how will your percentile get calculated? So 120 multiply number of students who are getting less than or equal to 120 marks, right, upon total number of students into 100. Total number of students into 100 will give you your percentile score, right? So this is a relative performance as per your students. So now you can see that total number of students is something which will actually affect your percentile. So this percentile is actually good thing to normalize, to give fair chance in a shift system. But, and now I have answered that why NTA prefers percentile, because we are doing shift wise things. But as we are saying that there are few factors where your percentile system lacks or becomes basically unfair, right? So let us just address those factors, those scenarios. Yes, ma'am?
Yeah. So again, as ma'am already told you, bacha, the percentiles, as you know, that actually there were 10 shifts of exam for your JEE, right? So there were 10 shifts, and right now we do not know in which shift there were more number of students and which shift there were lesser number of students. Okay? And if that has happened, like some shift has more number of students, then there is much more probability that in that shift itself there were too many topper students were there in just one shift, right? Because the probability becomes more of those kind of students as well, right? So there can be an uneven distribution of students across the shift. It can be the number one reason. For example, in one shift there were 40,000 students, and the other shift there are only 20,000 students taking the exam, right? So that would affect your percentile once again, because percentile depends on the number of students taking the exam, right? And as the number of students keeps on decreasing, it is actually bad for your percentile, right?
So ma'am, actually, so previous years also we have seen some discrepancies, like 2021 was the year which we've noticed the major discrepancy, but in 2024 till now we have not seen such discrepancy. So okay. I believe that, so percentile system works very fine if the shift wise, if we distribute all the students evenly. But this time what has happened, what we are hearing, ma'am, that in 27 January shift 1, there were most of the students in 27 January shift 1. So if many students are distributed in the shift 1 only, na, then that shift 1 students will suffer the most, and because the competition they will face definitely will be the most, right? So this is the number one reason, that could be the number one reason. And you know what, we will actually tell you that about it in detail in the next upcoming video. We will address this issue in detail about the number of students, exactly how many students were there. We will address that, okay? The second reason, ma'am, what could be the second reason?
That's the difficulty of the exam, obviously. Like some shifts actually had the exam on the very, very easier side, and some shifts had exam on the moderate side. There was not any shift where the exam was on the difficult side this time, right? There was just like two criteria, easy and moderate. Again, so on that basis, again, the marks and the percentile will vary, but difficulty of exam will not matter that much, right? If the students are evenly distributed across all the shifts, right? This can and cannot matter, but in most cases it do
Yes,
not.
actually, ma'am, what happens if the paper is absolutely easy, no, then only a few chunk of student will suffer, because the topper student will not get a fair chance to show their differentiator skills.
Yeah, correct.
Because if I can do the tough question and I can't see any tough question, then between me and an average student who can do all easy questions, there is no differentiator. So this affects absolutely, but this will not affect too much, because this will actually only affect if the difficulty level varies too much. Because suppose one paper is at advanced level, another paper is boards level. So if this particular they do na, then we can consider this particular thing. But this time I guess that
It was
the paper
even,
was
yeah.
papers was evenly, moderately, like some difficult, some moderate. The mix
Yeah.
and match was
Yeah,
observed.
difficulty of exam doesn't seem to be
Yes.
the reason
Yes.
affecting the percentile
Yes.
this much. The third reason is the uneven distribution of toppers across the shift. So what do we mean by this is, bacha, that if in one shift, if in just one shift what they have done, there are too many toppers concentrated in one shift, and the other shift do not have, and the other shift just has like one topper in them. Okay, then what happens? Okay, ma'am will explain to you better.
So basically, if you've got two papers of same difficulty level and of same, assuming that the distribution is same, so 10 students are competing over here. If I say 10 students are competing, if this paper is like has, like, you can assume 5 toppers are here. So can you see the cutoff or the 100 percentile of this paper 1 will be, the marks will be very high. Out of 100, let us say, out of 100, if I assume that 90 is going the high score, so this will, the student who is actually getting 90 marks will get 100 percentile, right? And in paper 2, because this difficulty level is same, because here what is happening, the average students are here, so out of 100, basically 70 marks, suppose 70 marks is got by a topper, so 100 percentile will be assigned to this 70 mark student. So that's why, can you see that you are basically with whom you are competing now, that is mattering, right? So uneven distribution of toppers across the shifts will affect. And you know what, in 27 January shift 1, we are actually we got to know by some sources that 27 January shift 1 is having maximum number of students. So we are assuming that combination of first and third, that is the most student in shift 1, and the toppers are also, some of the toppers are there in shift 1, that is giving a high competition for the shift 1 students, and the average student which is in the shift 1 will suffer the most, are suffering the most. And this is actually, ma'am, for the parents as well, right? This is for parents as well, I guess, because I know that parents are pushing their students, maybe, that why they are not getting, because there are some students, ma'am, who are performing well in mock test. I got some messages that there are some students who are performing well in the mock tests, and
Yeah, so show this video to your parents, right? You might be scoring a very good score, but still your percentile is less. So based on all these factors that ma'am explained to you very well, okay, in what can happen that in your shift there might be too many number of students, and then what has happened, those students were actually the topper students, or those which have studied the highest, or they always score the higher marks, and due to that your percentile would be even lesser, right? And you might be a very good student, but still that might be the case. So this is an appeal to parents to not actually reprimand your own children based on the percentiles this time. Look at their scores, because the score is the thing which you can judge your child in, right? So please judge on the score and not the percentile, because this time the percentile is very haphazard and nobody knows whether it is a technical issue or whether there was an uneven distribution of students, which seems to be a higher probability to happen, right?
yes. And so what is the action point? So action point is, now it's not the end of the world. The best thing, the good news is, we still have the second attempt, right? And second attempt can be the life savior. We can learn from our mistakes, we can learn from the NTA's mistakes as well, and we can focus on the April attempt, and we will talk about it subject wise also. We will do some videos wherein we'll be actually telling how to tackle, and because it's happening, because we don't know now which shift we are going to get in. A shift like 27 January, shift 1, or a shift like 31st January. So we don't know. So we need to be extremely prepared, and we are with you. We will guide you through your journey to the April attempt. Do not worry about that.
I don't think NTA can afford to do any other blunder, especially in the April shift, especially what has happened right now. People are sending appeals and appeals. There have been too many questions where people have appealed that the response is wrong. So this time there has been not great response towards the NTA, the conducting body of our country. People are not liking it. So definitely they will also improve. So you can expect your April attempt to be on the a little more difficult
and
side.
while they prepare for their April attempt, ma'am, we will do our job.
Yes.
So we will raise our voice, and we'll actually raise the concern to the
Here.
okay, to the
So we-
NTA.
yeah.
Yes.
So we have attached a link where you can fill the form to raise your voice and concern with NTA. This is a Google form which you can fill, and just click on this form. It is just below the thumbnail in the description box, where you can just click it and fill the form regarding your concern with NTA, because Vedantu, as always, stand with their students, because even us teachers realize what has happened with the percentile score and every other thing. So you should definitely raise your voice, because it is your duty. It is your duty right now, so that it doesn't happen again. If you do not raise your voice, obviously no other.
And you know what, ma'am? They don't need to raise their voice. We are raising voice for you. You just have to fill this form and prepare for your next attempt and boards. We will do our job. We'll do this for you, right? You don't need to worry about this. Just fill this form. That is one thing. And also, ma'am, there are some students who are actually not able to see their score. There is a database error, because there are some students who are putting their application number, but it's showing invalid invalid number. So for them, you just wait for 2 hours, and by the time you wait, what you can do is, you know your score, because they have released the scorecard and all. So what you can do is, you can check out this and you can just guess approximately how much you are getting. I know till the time you get your result, you won't be able to study. So just wait for 2 hours, and you can refer to these two PDFs for 99 percentile and for 90 percentile. We have done our hard work in this. So you just can refer, and another students also can refer who have got their results. And yes, ma'am, so we will be some meeting in the next video. You want to tell
So that video is very, very important. That is again a question mark raised for the NTA, and what that question mark is, we're going to discuss with you. It is very important. Please join us in another 30 minutes. We're going to be asking the NTA to be transparent, to please be a transparent body, and please release the list of students who have appeared shift-wise. We're going to do that together. Until then, please download these links and fill the Google form, and we will see you in another 30 minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you.